Alright guys, so in this video we're going to make it so that we can update our to-dos. So the idea is that we want to be able to click edit and then have this change to an input where we can actually just change the to-do and update it. Alright, so we have a couple areas we need to work on. Let's start in the HTML. Alright, now we have a checkbox, and what I want to happen is if it's marked as completed, so if the to-do has the is completed set as true, I want this to be checked. Okay, so what we'll do is let's add to this checkbox, to this input, and we're gonna put some brackets here and say checked, and we want to set that to-do dot is completed. Alright, so basically it's just saying that if it's completed, then we want this to be checked. Alright, and then we also want to have an event here. We're going to say click. Okay, so if it's clicked, then it's going to call a function called update status. And we're going to pass in the to-do itself. Alright, so let's start with that. We'll save it, and then we're going to go to our component TS file. And let's go down below add to do, and we're going to say update status. Okay, and this has a to do coming in. Let's say var, let's call it underscore to do is set to an object. It's going to have an underscore ID. We're going to set that to do dot underscore ID, then text, which will be equal to do dot text, and then is completed. We're going to set that to not to do dot is completed. And let's put a semicolon right there. And then what we want to do is we want to call a service function called update to do, which we haven't created yet. So let's say this dot underscore to do service dot update to do, and we're going to pass in underscore to do, and that's going to be an observable, so we want to use dot map. And here we're going to get the response, set that to res.json. And then we want to subscribe. We'll say data, and then we'll do to do dot is completed equals not to do dot is completed. All right. So now let's save that and go into the service, and we're going to create, actually, you know what we can do is just copy save to do, and then we'll change it to update to do. Okay, so we're going to have the headers. We're going to say headers.append application JSON, return this HTTP. Instead of post, this is going to be a put. Okay, when we update data on the server, that's going to be a put request. And we also have to include the ID here. So we're going to say slash, and then let's concatenate the to-do that we brought in dot underscore ID. All right, and then we're sending to-do as a string, and then we're putting in the headers. So that should be good. Now, since we used map on the other side, we're not going to need this here, so let's get rid of that, and we'll put a semicolon at the end here. Alright, so let's save that, and let's go to our application, and if we reload, and let's check one of these, reload again, and you can see it stays checked. Okay, so let's actually let's go to the MongoDB backend just so we can check it out. So I'm going to reload this, and let's see which one was that. Go out to dinner. So if we look down here, go out to dinner, you can see is completed is true. Okay, so this go food shopping, you can see how it's false. If we go and we check it, and we reload, now you can see it's true. If I uncheck it, reload, now it's nothing. Well, I guess we can leave it like that as long as if we check it again, it goes back to true. And it does. Okay, so that's fine. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to edit the text. So let's go back to the HTML, and we're going to go down to where we have the to-do text, and this is going to change quite a bit. We're actually going to have an input here. So what we'll do, actually we'll keep that because we want an input if we're in the edit state. So for this, let's put a span around it, and we can use this class.hidden, and what this will do is it'll add a hidden class if a certain condition is true, and that condition is going to be if we're in the edit mode. So we're going to have a property called isEditMode. So to-do.isEditMode, and then this will show, or this will hide if we're in edit mode. Alright, and then we want to have an input here, and that's also going to have class.hidden, and we're going to set that to not to do dot is edit mode, and let's make that type text. Okay, we're also going to add value and set it to do.text, and we're going to have an event here. We're going to have a key press. Okay, so key press, and then that's going to call a function that we'll call update to do text, and we're going to pass along the event and the to do. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is copy this, paste this in. So we're going to keep the same thing, class hidden if not to do is edit mode, and this is going to be a button. Okay, and then let's see, we're just going to have a regular value. That's just going to be the button text. So this is going to be the cancel button. Okay, so we can click it to go in edit mode, and then we'll have a cancel button to get out of edit mode. Alright, so let's change this to click. Okay, so when click, we're going to run a function called set edit state. And we're going to pass in here to do, the to do, and also false. So we're going to set the edit state false. Alright, and then let's just give this a bootstrap class. We'll say btn and btn warning. Alright. And then we're going to go down to the actual edit button here. And what I want to happen is when it's completed, I want the edit button to be disabled. Alright, so let's go make sure you're on the edit button, and we're going to say class.disabled, and we'll set it to do dot is completed. Alright, so if it's completed, it should be disabled. Alright, so now let's take care of the click. So when this is clicked, it's gonna call set edit state, and we want to pass along the to do, and then we want to set the state to true. Alright, just like the cancel button up here sets it to false, this is going to set it to true. And I think that should be it. So let's go ahead and save that. And then we'll go to our component, and we're first going to create the function set edit state. Okay, and that's going to get the to-do, and then it's going to be past the state, which is going to be either true or false. All right, so we'll check the state. So we'll say if state, then we're going to set to-do dot is edit mode. We're going to set that to state. Okay, else, then we're going to say delete to-do dot is edit mode. All right, so we'll set it to either true or false. So let's save that and see what happens. So if I go down here and I click edit, well, that should be disabled. Oh, it is disabled, but I can still click it. That's weird. Huh. You can see that these two are faded out, and it has the symbol there saying it's disabled. If I uncheck it, it goes back to normal. Alright, for some reason though, it still lets me click it. That's weird. Huh. But anyway, if we edit, this isn't going to update yet, because when we actually try to update this, it's going to call update to do text, and we don't have that yet. So let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so this is going to take the event, and it's also going to take the to-do. Okay, and then let's see. Let's actually copy what we have in the add to do. Alright, so we're going to test the event. This time we're testing for event with the ID of 13, because we want this to happen when we fill this out and then we click the enter. Okay, it's not a click event. It's going to be the enter button. Alright, so then what we want to do, let's actually just get rid of this. Alright, so then what we want to do is we're going to say to do dot text, and we're going to set that equal to event dot target dot value. That's how we're going to get the value in the text box. And then we're going to create a variable called underscore to do, which will represent the new object. Okay, it's going to have an ID of to do dot underscore ID. It's going to have text, which will be to do dot text, and it's going to have is completed, which will be set to do dot is completed. Alright, and then down here we're going to call the update to do just like we did up here. We can actually copy this, paste that in, except we're going to change this one line here. What we want to do is set the edit state back to false. So this dot set edit state, pass in to do and false. Alright, so let's see if that works. We'll save it, reload, and let's see, meeting at work. Let's click edit and we'll say meeting with boss and then enter. Okay, so it changed. If we reload, it stays changed, and if we look in the actual database here, you can see it says meeting with boss. So we can now fully update the status as well as the actual text. So in the final video, I'm going to show you how we can delete these to-dos from our application.